Hi everyone, my name is Amber and God has blessed me and my husband with 8 beautiful, precious gifts. And we are so excited to be planning our first home birth with a midwife this time around. And so I just thought I would share as to why we decided on a home birth. I was a single teen mom with my first child, and the doctor had suggested being induced, and I happily obliged, not knowing any better. And so my first son Isaac was born at the hospital with an OB. I had a natural birth, no medication, and no interventions, and everything went well. After having my first son, a couple years later, I met my husband, we got married, and we had our first child together, which would be our second child. And so we continued with the trend of being induced. We were told with my first labor being so fast, and since our hospital was out of town now, that they were concerned with me getting to the hospital in time. So again, I agreed to an induction and had a relatively fast labor. With that being said, the doctor had induced me and wasn't even at the hospital when it came time to push. And so I was held off on pushing until he got there, and that was just torture for me. Our third child, we had the same OB, the same hospital, and the same scenario. I was induced with the doctor not there, and this time I was not as patient to not push, and I actually started pushing with her, and I delivered her head as he was walking into the room, and the intern had finished delivering her by the time he even got to the side of the bed. So I love to labor in the tub, and that's what I did for the 2 births with my daughters. My first son, he came so fast that I really didn't even need to do any of those things. So I discovered my love for the water when in labor with my second and third pregnancies. And so after my third child was born and I had delivered pretty much before the doctor got there, I was just traumatized from the experiences of forcing my body into labor. It felt so unnatural to not push. It felt so unnatural to be induced. The contractions were crazy, insane, and I just felt trapped, that I didn't have control over my body, that I couldn't control what was happening to my baby. And so I started to think of other options, and just started asking around and Googling what there was out there, and midwives came up. And I wasn't really comfortable with the idea of a midwife at first. So I met her, I took my mom with me, who's real protective of me and her grandbabies, and I knew that she would be an asset to my decision making. And so we met with a midwife, we fell in love with her and the care and the hopes of everything that she offered, and we went with a midwife in the hospital for our 4th child. So we had a boy, a girl, and our 3rd girl, and she was our first child, Faith, with a midwife. And I absolutely cannot say enough about my midwife, about the care from my midwife, the love and support and encouragement that we felt all during my pregnancy, all during labor. And she actually ended up being, without the induction, my longest birth or labor so far at 10 hours. And I labored in the tub the same as before, and everything just went beautiful. I loved the experience. So when we got pregnant again with our 5th child, which ended up being a little boy, we went with the same midwife, and she needed to end up retiring halfway through my pregnancy due to medical issues with her husband. So I switched midwives. Actually, I think it was the midwife underneath her, but I saw her, and so she delivered our 5th child. After he was born and we got pregnant again with our 6th child, we had decided, or more so I had decided, that I wanted a water birth. I was tired of laboring in the tub, and then when it came time to push, having to get out and being super uncomfortable and just cold. And so we made the decision to travel an hour and a half to the hospital, the closest hospital that offers a water birth. We don't have any birth centers near us where we could be closer to home. And at that time, my husband and I didn't feel comfortable birthing at home. This was all still foreign to us, and we're learning with each child. We seem to have this light go off of, hey, this is a little bit more natural. This is a little bit more how this was intended and supposed to be. So with our 6th child, we decided to travel an hour and a half with a midwife to birth in the hospital in a tub. And I had lots and lots and lots of prodromal labor with this child. And so there was a lot of worry about making it to the hospital in time and all those things. But it worked out. God was so good every step of the way. And I got my water birth, and it was awesome. It was beautiful. It was precious. It was empowering. It was just the best thing ever. So I was ecstatic. At this point, with the switches of OBs and midwives, the care that I was getting now, my midwife was on a team of, because it's a much bigger hospital, on a team of doctors, or a team of doctors and midwives. And so she wasn't necessarily the one that was going to be delivering. And at this point, it doesn't matter who delivers as long as I get the water birth. And that's what happened. She didn't end up delivering. I got the midwife on call, who was fantastic, birthed my little baby boy. Wonderful experience. So when we got pregnant with our 7th child, we decided to do the same thing. Saw the same midwife, planned on the same water birth, the same hour and a half hospital drive. We did it all again. It all worked out. Praise be to God that it did. And he was born, another little boy. So we had him. So now we have my oldest, Isaac, our daughter Chloe, our daughter Brooke, our daughter Faith, our son Daniel, our son Samuel, our son Nathaniel. I'm running out of hands and names. And so our son Nathaniel. So we have 7 children, and we got pregnant again. And this is the year of 2020. Everything's crazy and challenging. We knew that we did not want a hospital birth with restrictions, with the changes that they're making to birthing center plans and all this stuff. So we feel like we have been experienced, that we have been through a lot of things. We are still hiring a midwife, and I am super excited. I'm new to her and she's new to us, so we're still figuring each other out. But so the plan is to have a home birth with this little baby boy, Ezekiel. Now there's a tongue twister for you if you can say my 4 boys' names super fast. Daniel, Samuel, Nathaniel, Ezekiel. Well, that wasn't so bad, was it? So Ezekiel is due in April, and we are planning a home birth, and that's how we came to where we are right now. I look forward to sharing our experience and our journey with you, the blessings and the way God takes care of us and provides for us along the way. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's my first video, and if you can't tell, I'm super nervous. And like my channel. Thank you guys so much, and have a blessed day.